Welcome to the first ever Real Splash Brothers Real podcast, a real TV show. I guess we'll figure out the name. But here with me, we have a special guest, David Johnston, a winner junior national champion of the 1650 for the West meet. He is is it 3 Olympic trials cuts for David Johnston?
I appreciate the intro. I got, 3 or 4 trials cuts. I'm David Johnston. I'm looking forward to being on the podcast and just hearing what my friend has to say, and we'll just go with that.
Yeah. By the way, if you can't tell from the background, freshman at UT. So we'll get into that. But coming fresh off a hot meet, I think Swim Swam definitely featured it. 4:16, 500, 8:55, 1,000. Those were 2 huge drops. Congratulations on those swims, David.
I appreciate it, dude.
So already starting off hot, but I want to go back to much earlier to kind of get a sense of where this came from. So I think the first thing I would like for you to just talk about, let's say, give a little brief overview of how age group swimming was for you up until maybe 15 years old, and kind of just where you were and what you were doing at those ages.
Well, I started swimming, as a little kid, and then was in the summer league, joined USA Swimming when I was 9 or 10. I was pretty successful in the 10 and under. I think at that point, you don't really know anything when you're 10. You're just training hard. And, I was with Tom Applegate. He was great for me, showed me the ropes of swimming. 11, 12, I was pretty good. So I thought things would fall into place, but had my struggles from 13 to 15. I would say I was not where I wanted to be, but still training hard and just, I don't know. I think I had a, different maturity about the way the sport was going. I've been in the sport a long time, seen a lot of things. So at that age, I was just, I was not where I wanted to be, but I was just, I knew that all I needed to do was just grow and just keep working hard. And those were the things, that were going to help take me to the next level. So I definitely learned a lot. And when I was 15, I was just looking up some of the older guys on my team, seeing what they were doing. So age group swimming definitely prepared me a lot and taught me a lot for where I am now. And it just helped me love the sport. Whether I'm doing well or not, I love swimming. So that's what drives me every day is I love swimming.
Yeah. So, interesting, because I know that you at 10, weren't you you were like top 5 or top 10 in the country in like the 500 or 1650 or something like that? Like, didn't you won tags in the 500? Is that correct?
Yeah, I won tags twice when I was 10. Once in the 400, once in the 500. I was pretty good when I was 10, and then fell off a little bit after that. So one of those late bloomer stories. Yeah,
and I think the late bloomer story is one that's interesting because it was not very linear to say. Because when you were 15, late 15, you had a hiatus from swimming.
Yeah.
Do you want a comment on that and talk
Sometimes
about
I forget about it. Yeah. I ended up taking off swimming. I just wanted to swim, but I felt like I just needed a break to kind of rethink things. I knew I wanted to come back. At the time, I was struggling with some health issues that ended up not being a big deal. I would say, I was always very motivated. I always had this confidence and belief in the things that I could do. But it was during that time that I really, but when I took off swimming, even though I was already kind of upset before that, that was when I really, all the motivation for me really started boiling up during that period of time, because I wasn't training with people on a daily basis, and I was just seeing people succeed. That was a really fast season for a lot of people. That was the year Caleb Gussel went crazy at NCAAs. And I didn't really care about NCAAs at that point, but I was just looking at the other 15, 16-year-olds that were taking steps that I wasn't. Things that I'm still working for now are as a result of the things that I was motivated about during that time. It was just a great time to kind of reset. When I came back, I was kind of on a mission.
Yeah. And I think, interesting enough, a lot of people are kind of, experiencing similar things with the COVID crisis and taking time off. But I think
Yeah, for sure. I think COVID will probably positively impact our sport because I know I've talked to a lot of people here at UT that think the break was good for them, and it feels like if you take off 2 weeks, it can ruin your season. But a lot of people are coming back better and stronger. We've seen a lot of kids break records and things coming back. I've seen Claire Curzon and the 14-year-old the other day. Stuff like that is happening. So I think a lot of people will be able to use this to kind of mentally reset and get ready.
Yeah, and I think in your sake, it worked for you because you came back. What was it? Early summer 2018. Was that around?
Right. I started swimming again in March of 2018. Started training, and then took a while to get back in shape. But
yeah, so when you came back from swimming, did you have any goals in mind? Were you just like, let me just try to get back to where I was? Or did you have anything in specific that you were trying to get to off the bat?
Oh my goodness, yeah, there was lots of stuff. I mean, there wasn't like anything in particular, but like I knew, by the time I was a senior, I wanted to swim in college, and I would say there was nothing exactly concrete at that point, but I just had motivation to just get back and get some sectional cuts and get on the map. And then after that, then I really laid down the plan. I was in. The first season I came back, I didn't have any technical goals. I was trying to get in shape, but then, it was like, I was starting to get kind of better. I was starting to grow. And then it was like when I was in Europe in 2018, that was really, when I was like on all those bus rides in the middle of Poland and all that stuff, that's when I was laying down the foundation, laying down the plan for the next couple of years. And the plan was to get juniors at the end of my junior year at sectionals in the 1650. That was the goal. And then since I just got a couple sectional cuts, that was when I was starting to get a little better. So, that was the goal. And then the plan was to get trials that summer. I don't know how I thought I was going to go from winter juniors and March trials the next summer, but I ended up getting that juniors cut in December. And then after that, it was just like, I don't remember if I was trying, I don't even know what I was trying to think. I didn't really know that much at that time, but I had a framework. I ended up getting a little bit ahead of it though. So
yeah, that juniors cut was probably a surprise to a lot of people. Do you feel like in workouts were people like, yeah, this kid's gonna be crazy, or was it like at the meet everyone's like, wow, this guy that just came off of 8 or 10 months off just won a juniors cut? Like, how was that for the team? Did people expect it?
Well, I didn't even expect it. I mean, like I said that I was going to try to get, the whole season I'd been going crazy. I was sprinting every set. I was getting a lot better. And it was, right before the meet, I was like, okay, I honestly feel like with a perfect race, I honestly have a shot at the junior cut in the 500. And so, no one took it seriously. Neil believed, in what I could do. And we were talking about it. I kept bringing in it every day to his office and was like, how can I get better? How can I do this? How can I do that? And we make the goals and he'd just make them faster. He'd just make them faster and faster. And so, I had a lot of confidence in what I was doing. But the way that I got the first one was definitely surprising. Because obviously I was seated with a 421. I was trying to go a 408, but I went 357. So I don't really know how it happened because I felt like my freestyle was better at that point. But it just kind of happened, and it was just, I don't know. It was like, it was very, very shocking to me. But at the same time, I wasn't really surprised. I've been expecting to be there for a long time. And by the time I got into 2018 Winter Juniors, it was crazy because I was thinking about this as, like 2 years ago, because now I just think of Winter Juniors as, oh, that's just Winter Juniors, but when I walked into Winter Juniors, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here. Like, this is insane. Like, I don't even belong here. Like, I'm not good enough to be here. Like, how did I make it in this meet? That was what I was thinking just about 2 years ago. And so that it kind of came up really, really quickly for sure for me.
Yeah, and I think definitely looking back, you deserve to be there, and I think that's something you have to remember in the strides everyone takes in their careers. You have to keep things in perspective because when you improve a lot, looking back a year or two, your goals are different, and you should always remember how far you've come. And I think for you, do you think there's ever a moment in that season? I know at sectionals you dropped a decent bit as well. with 4:29 in the 500, which is a good swim. So you started getting on freestyle. You had a decent 1650. I think you're 15:23, I believe, or somewhere around there.
I went 15:28 in February. Yeah, it was. Well, after that, it was like, so I would say that I always had this confidence and belief that things are going to work out in my career, but it was just at that core classic meet, everything changed. Like the momentum of my career changed. It was like at that meet, like right after I finished that 400 IM, like I knew I was going to go to UT. Like I knew like what I was like after that race. Then it was like I was still motivated, but like I had the assurance that things are moving in the right path. And then it was like coming into sectionals, like I wasn't disappointed with how I did it all, but it was just kind of like expected. And like I was expecting to do everything that I did, and I wanted to go faster in some of the events I did. But it was more just of like a learning experience being at that meet. Going to winter juniors and going to sectionals just motivated me because I'd never been to sectionals before, and it was just like seeing that, and then being so close to being in a lot of A finals and competing against people was like, next year, like I want to come back and be the best or be in the top 3 or top 5 or whatever. And so it was like going to that meet just gave me a lot of great experience about how to race people. And, like I was really self-motivated, but just once you throw in all the other people, it just added on to it. So I was expecting to do everything I did at that sectionals meet.
Yeah. And I think maybe you could say that 2018 Core Classic or Core Invite, whatever it's called, was the pendulum of the career. But I think another big moment, and maybe you know where I'm going with this, was that first Summer Juniors of 2019. Was it the first day you swam the 1500? And I knew at the time you had big expectations, but the feeling going into the race, kind of walk me through that, and then after the race, kind of how that was.
Yeah, for sure. That race is definitely one of the best races of my career. It was definitely I just been getting ready for it the whole summer. That's all I thought about ever since I went 357 on Core Classic. Really, ever since sectionals, that's all I thought was the next 6 months or the next 6 to 8 months is just a fight to try and get the trials cut. So ever since the season started, trials is the only thing I was talking about. I want to get the trials cut. And so the whole plan was to get that trials cut in the 1500 at that meet on the first day. That summer taught me a lot because every meet I was disappointed with how I was doing because I wanted to get the trials cut before juniors. Originally, I wanted to get it at juniors, but I was kind of impatient with it. I didn't swim how I wanted to at sectionals, but that whole summer was one of the best training blocks of my career. It was very consistent, and we did a lot of work that summer. And then I felt like I really hit the taper right for that race. And after sectionals, I was disappointed with how I was swimming. Like I went like a 16:01 in the 1500. Yeah. I was disappointed with it, but then at juniors, I ended up going to 15:33. But I was actually tapered, or I felt like I was tapered a little bit for that sectionals, but I didn't really know what I was talking about because I just didn't have much experience with it. So that summer just taught me a lot. But the thing was, I'd been mentally getting ready for that specific race for about 6 or 8 months. And so it was nice to be able to put things together. And that summer was just a great learning experience for me. So those are the type of things that I want to be able to repeat, is being able to think about that goal for 6 or 8 months and then just go do it, and just trusting the process.
Yeah. And I think the process paid off because not only did you get your first trials cut in the 1500, which I believe you placed, what was it, second?
Yeah, I got second. Yeah.
Second in the meet. So random guy gets second at the meet. No one's ever heard of you. Then the next day is from the 400 IM, and you get another trials cut, and I believe you're third in that event. So that was particularly amazing. And then you have a decent 400 that I know you're upset about. But going 359 is crazy, given that I remember 2018 summer, you go 422 in the 400 and a heat with me. And it's like, oh man, he's doing pretty well, 422 coming off of the break.
Yeah. Well, see, a big motivation for me at that meet was obviously talking about college recruiting. I feel like I had a lot to prove. And a lot of times when I feel like I have something to prove, that's when I'm in my best. And I felt like that a lot. I still feel like that. So like when I was at that meet, I was unknown. And I remember talking to Neil before the meet in his office. I remember he said, you're not known now, but we want to be able to, try to, make your presence known at this meet. And so a lot of ways I was motivated was I felt like I was overlooked a lot in the college recruiting. I didn't have a bad college recruiting experience, but nobody reached out to me initially, like not even one school, not one D3 school, nothing for a long time. And I got a little bit of attention after that core classic meet, but I just felt like I had something to prove and I was really underrated. So at that meet, that was when, I really had to close in on my options. And I had something to prove to UT, and I had something to prove to a lot of schools, and I had something to prove to everybody. And so, nobody hated me, nobody was rooting against me, but in my head they were. And so that was what was driving me.
It's the Michael Jordan effect. If you ever watched the documentary, that's a good one.
Yeah, Last Dance.
But yeah. I guess talking about recruiting, your experience was definitely different than most people because you kind of came on late. Is there anything that you would have done differently in the experience? And also, I think your first how did you get in touch with UT and how did you end up kind of picking them as your top choice?
There's a lot of things that I felt like I did well in the process. There's a couple things I wish I would have done differently. As far as what I did well, and this is something that can apply to everybody, is obviously college is your decision, but always look to the advice of your coaches and your parents. And obviously the decision is yours, but come up with a couple of things that mean a lot to you. And so when I was recruiting with UT, they were pretty much done with their recruiting class. I wouldn't say the throw-in of the class, but like they didn't really want anybody else in the class, and I really had to prove to them that I could be there. And so at summer juniors, after the first race, I knew I could be on UT, and that was when Eddie texted me. But and obviously I stayed focused to the rest of the meet. But I just feel like you have to come up with the things that are important to you, and then just really advise the people around you and what they think. So with me, something that was super important to me, something I stressed the whole time, and I'm so glad that I thought about, was what is the team chemistry? What are the people like on the team? Because, I want to be with other guys who, are real motivated and just fun to be around. And then just like have a great team culture and what's the coaching like. So those two things were definitely the most important to me. And then by the time I got on the UT visit compared to the other ones, I just knew it was the place. And I feel like if you have your priorities lined up and you know exactly what you're looking for, you'll feel at home and wherever you visit. And for me, just being a late bloomer, it was, just being patient. I think I could have been a little more patient with the process, but I think that kind of drive me to swim better. But, I wish I could have just trusted that the right school and the right time will contact you and that ultimately that it'll work out. And another thing I wish I would have done differently is I wish I would have looked more into the majors of the school and gotten things a little more situated before I got here, because I was so focused on swimming that even now it's like I'm trying to figure out what I want to major in and what I want to do. And you'll know when the time comes, but I'm still struggling with that. Even after I come here, I already have 60 hours of college credit from community college, but I wish I would have gotten a lot more information about the academic side of the school before I came, because obviously UT is very tough, and I would go here if I could do it again. But I just wish I would have been a little more ready with that.
Yeah, no, I know that choosing a major is hard, but that is a good point. It is important to remember the academic side, especially if you have a specific major, because not every school might have the one thing you're looking to study. So you mentioned being at UT. On the academic side, I know that housing has been weird. It's been obviously complicated with Corona moving in. Has the transition from high school, you did a lot of community college hours. Has it been specifically difficult? Has anything been unexpected? And then how has swimming been too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as far as academic goes, this is an eye-opener being here. This is not an easy academic school. School has definitely been stressful for me, but I feel like I've really, been adjusting to it and figuring out the schedule. So school is really killing me, but the grades are fine. But that's definitely a huge adjustment. As far as swimming goes, it's just a lot of kind of like UT is, there's a lot of stuff that I've learned ever since I got here, but a lot of it was just like everything that I thought was going to be so great about it and everything that I wanted to see about the team culture it was just everything you could imagine and everything with the coaches that you could imagine. I felt at home when I got here because I know our team culture is like that. You know, one of the things we say all the time is we want to be able to help each other, and when we help each other, that's when we make each other individually better. And just being at practice and being able to race guys who, no matter who you're in the lane next to, you know, this is a world-class swimmer that's going to be able to challenge you and is going to be able to beat you in something. And so that's always fun. Somebody's always having their best day. Training really hypes me up, and just being with the team outside of practice is awesome. I felt at home here, and it's like everything that I wanted to see out of the team culture, and I was hoping it was everything I wished for as far as how the team operates. So I'm definitely having fun and training hard here. And the training itself has been an adjustment. You know, in high school, I've done a lot of crazy sets in terms of distance aerobically and training. Here it's been a little bit more of pace and speed and who are you racing. But a lot of it is just to get me ready for this meet on Saturday. And that's why we've been doing a lot of pacing and racing. I've got a lot of aerobic capacity down under my belt, and obviously Eddie knows what he's doing. But after this meet, it's really when we're going to really experiment with the training and figure some stuff out. So, you know, obviously there's been some instability with COVID and what we're doing, but, you know, the training has been an adjustment for me, but it's also going well. I've just learned so much about how to race here and so many different things about swimming, and just being able to ask questions to people here. And I've just learned a lot. I'm looking forward to training after this meet's over.
Yeah, and I think that is, you know, leading up to the meet, there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm not sure. It's a tri-meet between A&M, SMU, and UT. It's at Austin, a home meet. You won't have the home crowd, but you'll have at least your team and other people watching. Hopefully there'll be a live stream. So what are your goals going in? What are you looking for? I know you say you're going to kind of see where you guys are in terms of speed, in terms of, you know, aerobic capacity. I'm sure you'll do well, but is there anything specific that you guys are looking for as a team or yourself?
Yeah. I mean, as a team, you know, we've got 4 guys that are tapering for it, you know, and including me, and then the rest of us are just kind of like lightly resting for it. But, you know, in terms of the team, we just want to have fun and race and see where we are. In terms of me and the other guys tapering, I know the last 6-8 months I've been having my sights on trying to get the NAG and the 1650, and as well as potentially the 500 and 1000. So for me, that's been the focus the last 6 or 8 months. That's all I've thought about back home during quarantine, all I've wanted ever since I've got here. So, you know, the plan has been for me to taper for this meet, and but ultimately, to me, there's just not really much pressure on it. It's, if you get it, it's fun, and this is a fun challenge that's been driving me, but you just move on to what's next. And so I'm really excited for this race. You know, I think I can do it. I know Carson's going for the NAG and the 400 IM and the 200 free. So, you know, it should be a lot of fun, and, you know, just kind of see what happens. And after this is when, you know, we can really focus on what do I want to do at NCAAs, what I want to do at Invite. I haven't really thought about my end of season goals, exactly what they are. You know, I've, you know, thought about them a little bit, but, you know, after this meet is when we'll really figure out what did I do in the last 6 months of training, you know, where am I? And after that, we're going to move forward. It'll be a lot of fun. So. Yeah,
no, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm wishing the best for you guys and the team. Obviously, a lot of fast swimming to come, and a lot of guys to race. I mean, with 3 teams, you got a lot of competition, especially within your team. So good luck to you guys on that. And I think this will just about wrap it up. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your insights. Hope to maybe do something in the future, but you know, good luck this weekend, and I'm excited and wishing the best for you guys.
You're good. I appreciate it, man. You gotta take up a job with these interviewing skills, start building this brand. So McKinney right here. So yeah, we're looking forward to the meet this weekend. I'm about to go take an ice bath here. I'll head out, and thanks so much for having me, dude.
Thank you.